Dr. Elena Vasquez stood in the center of the Atacama Desert, wiping the perspiration from her brow. It was a scorching day. And there was no moisture in the air. After 3 months of employment, she was still in awe of what her team had located. A basic metal detection survey was the first step. The government of Chile desired to map mineral deposits in this isolated location. It was Elena's responsibility to ensure that no historical sites were disturbed. She anticipated discovering antiquated mining tools or even some antiquated ceramics. She didn't anticipate discovering something that would transform everything. When they approached a metal detector, it had gone crazy. Little slope. Elena believed the machine was broken because the readings were so strong. However, when they only found 2 feet, they struck a solid object that wasn't made of rock or dirt. Dr. Vasquez, one of her graduate students, James Park, said, "You must see this." Was kneeling beside a hole that had been dug for a week and was growing larger, now 20 feet deep. Elena strolled over and peered down every day, and her pulse raced at what she saw. It was a black, smooth metal with patterns that resembled veins running through it. It was neither steel nor. The surface appeared to shimmer in the arid heat, shifting color slightly like aluminium or any other metal she had ever seen. "Have you taken the dating test yet?" she asked, moving her head. That's what Elena asked. "The issue," James stated. "We keep getting error warnings from the carbon dating equipment. According to the mass spectrometer, there are isotopes in metal that shouldn't be there. According to Dr. Kim, our apparatus is broken." The team's materials scientist, Dr. Sarah Kim, believed that if there was a problem with the apparatus. Although Elena believed her instincts, she also trusted her own perceptions. This metal was not from Earth. After 3 weeks of excavation, they were able to observe the form of what they had discovered. It was a ship, a huge ship that was more than just a hunk of metal. Elena stood in the 400-meter-long trench, which was entirely covered in desert sand. The ship's design was unlike anything that humans had ever seen, and they were examining the 3D scan of the object in the command tent. Ever constructed. It was curved and smooth, with parts that appeared to blend into one another. Other than water, the hull showed no signs of joints or seams. Admiral Chun Wei-Ming inquired, "How long has this been here?" The admiral had arrived 2 days prior with a group of military experts. When the military took over her dig, Elena was not pleased. "We cannot tell," Elena remarked, but she could understand why they were fascinated. "The metal does not age like typical substances. Perhaps it had been here for 100 or even 1,000 years." Admiral Chun nodded slowly, a small, sharp-witted guy with gray hair. Elena could tell he was considering things that were far away because of his eyes, which appeared to take everything in at once. "Outside of archaeology. Have you managed to get inside?" the admiral asked. Not yet. It looks as though the hole is totally shut. Cutting tools have been tried, however. Nothing functions. Although the metal is somewhat bendable, it is tougher than diamond. It seems as though it was intended to prevent anybody from entering. Elena guided the admiral into the excavation site. Constructed metal walkways to allow people to safely navigate the ship, which was enormous and considerably larger than. Elena felt little as she peered into the computer and saw the model standing next to it. Dr. Kim had arranged a number of electronic devices and was working close to what appeared to be an entrance apparatus and was extending cables along the hull of the ship. "Any chance?" "Maybe," Dr. Kim replied without answer when Elena questioned. "I'm noticing very slight electrical activity inside the ship as I look up from her instruments. It's almost if the ship is not dead, but it is sleeping." Admiral Chun arched an eyebrow. Like a PC in standby mode, the power measurements are consistently low. If I'm not mistaken, this spacecraft might be useful. In spite of the heat of the desert, Elena felt cold. The ramifications of an alien ship buried in the desert on Earth were huge. "Can you wake up?" "It's up," the Admiral inquired. "I've been looking for some sort of control panel or interface, yet the hull is entirely smooth. There are no buttons, no knobs, nothing like a door." Dr. Kim returned to her job. Utilizing an electromagnetic field detection equipment, which she carefully slid around the "Wait," she whispered abruptly, "something's here." Elena was monitoring the ship's surface for any changes in the data. And the Admiral approached. Dar. Kim stood beside a piece of hull that was identical to all the others. However, her detector started beeping quickly. "This place has a considerably stronger electromagnetic field, as if there's..." Dr. Kim placed her hand against the metal, but nothing occurred for a moment. There was something active just beneath the surface. Then a faint blue light radiated from the metal, radiating outward from where her hand made contact, forming what appeared to be blood vessels or circuits. Everyone took a step back. Admiral Chun gave the order, but Elena was immobile since she was enthralled with what she was observing. The light patterns were lovely, flowing across the ship's surface like water. Something strange, and a little scary. A part of the hull started to alter. Where there had been a solid wall, there was now an aperture, solid metal become transparent and then just vanished. Big enough for someone to pass through. "Well," Elena muttered, "we must have located the door." The ship's interior was black, but as soon as Elena lights came up as soon as they entered the hole, they weren't glaring white like human lights, but rather The corridor was spacious and curved, with a gentle blue-green color that was pleasant on the eyes. The walls appeared to be composed of the same flowing metal as the outside. Admiral Shun and